Hello YouTube! This video is snippets of the live stream I did where I made this wreath of Tillandsia, or airplants. This is the final product. It's exclusively airplants, which are in the genus Tillandsia, so in this video I'll use them interchangeably. This was like a 4-hour live stream I did on Twitch that I cut down into a little snippet here with information about the plants and my design ideas. There's 5 different species on this one, and that's just what I had. But yeah, one of the things that's worth noting is that I use a thing called Horticultural Wire. It's this very flexible kind of green plasticky wire that you can use to wrap the air plants into the wreath to hold them in. And so I will be using that in some parts of the video, and we'll get to see it here. So today, I'm excited to make a wreath of Tillandsia. This is my little wreath of grapevines. The grapevine wreath was on sale at a store that I'm admittedly a little bit ashamed to have attended, but it was $2. So, you know, that's the way it goes. This wreath has different size. It was very cheap. Yeah, that's why I got it. And I wanted to do this. One of the things that's really exciting about Tillandsia is that there's some that are really small and some that are really big specimens. Some of the really small ones, I don't really have a good way to have them growing in a pretty and attractive way. So like, there's bigger Tillandsia, like this one, which I'm going to divide Tillandsia up into 2 groups. These are air plants called Tillandsia. They don't need soil. They do have these little roots on them. And those little roots, what they do is they simply hold on to things. They don't really absorb nutrients. These Tillandsia, or air plants as they're called, will collect rain and nutrients simply on their leaves. They have kind of a silvery hue. I wore this shirt because it kind of matches some of the Tillandsia. I like the colors a lot. Kind of a grayish, silvery green. The silvery green color is from little tiny trichomes or hairs on the leaf that help it collect water. When it's saturated, it becomes bright green. So that's kind of how that works. I'm going to break my collection of Tillandsia up into 2 categories. The very first, group is going to be the bigger specimens that I can put inside of. A bigger specimen that I can put inside of a little vase or something like that. So vases and little silly things like this are all good. I mean, the small ones will go on the wreath. I guess, let me see. I'm going to put the big ones on the back. So I'm going to figure out which ones I want to put on the wreath. I will go through them with you at present. Fine. This little one, this little Tillandsia is very cute, but I think it's a good specimen. So it goes good, on top of a Groot head or something. So this one will not be on the wreath. Okay, this one is interesting. So one of the things about the wreath is, first, I would like it to have symmetry. I want it to be symmetrical. I do want it to be mostly filled with smaller things and maybe 1 or 2 specimen. So I have this big one whose name is evading me, but I cleaned it up and it looks a lot better. I've had this one for maybe 2.5, 3 years. It is many sides to it, and the more light it gets, the more red it gets. You can see the edges of some of these are kind of red. It's starting to turn like a yellowish red. So maybe this one goes to the base. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe this one goes down here. I think that might be a good specimen because it billows and flows out. So I'll put this. The next group, this will be like a filler one. An orchid wreath next? Okay, we'll consider that. The next filler group is Tillandsia crocata. This might be my favorite species of Tillandsia. I've learned to love them a lot. Simply because they produce a lot of flowers. They don't desiccate easily, so they don't dry out very quickly. They have this lovely silvery hue, which I'm a fan of. They're quite thick. They don't bend really easily. And when they flower, the flowers are really aromatic. So I don't know if you've ever smelled a Tillandsia flower. The only Tillandsia I know that has a pretty intense smell as this one. There are other species that are aromatic, but they're not as potent. And so when it's in full bloom, which is, I mean, I've only smelled it twice, but it was crazy both times. It was so intense. The Tillandsia flowers always have 3 petals. They're kind of minute. I did treat all of these. This plant is quite fun. I really like it. I will be using these in the wreath. I have maybe 12. I bought them in bulk, so okay. The crocata. So an airplant is a plant of the genus Tillandsia in the bromeliad family. The plants are unique in that they don't really have roots that collect soil. They don't have roots that need soil, and their roots don't really absorb nutrients or water, the same way other roots do. A distinguishing thing too is that they often just like attach themselves to a tree or to something and then they live there. They often have silvery leaves like these because the leaves have little hairs on them called trichomes, and that helps them collect rainwater and particulates. The genus is called Tillandsia, and there were previously some different species in the genus that were terrestrial, meaning they lived in the soil and in the ground. They have since been removed from the genus. They sound parasitic, but they're not. They actually are, if anything, beneficial for the thing they're living on. They're not parasitic at all. They don't do anything negative to them. I'll show you how to propagate the air plant right now, Clever Dirt. This is Tillandsia funckiana. It's kind of funky, that's why it's no, that's not how it got the name. It's called Tillandsia funckiana. And this is one connected plant. Now, to propagate it, all you can do is just split it. It's by vegetative propagation called separation. This stem right here, I'm going to grab this stem and break it off. Boom. Now I have 2 plants. But technically there's more. They made a mess and it's all on the floor. But yeah, so now I have this one and this one. So today, the majority of the wreath will actually be this Tillandsia funckiana. It'll be all in here. I've divorced dragons. Yeah, so it'll all be in here. And I have a bunch of big clumps. I'm gonna take those big clumps and split them up into small sections and attach them. I think my goal is to get sections of stem that look like this. So if I can get pieces that look like this, then I can get them woven and connected into this here. It's that easy, that's right. Clever Dirt, no dirt needed for these guys. One of the things that's annoying is that all this dead leaf tissue does fall everywhere. He's definitely funky. So air plants don't need soil, that's right. They could actually rot. They could actually rot if you put them in soil. But don't put them in soil, because then you might get a disease. This one is all over the South, and in Texas, in Mexico. This is called ball moss, but it's just Tillandsia recurvata. The Tillandsia recurvata is a charming little plant that lives in the oaks and elms, and it's a Tillandsia just like this one, except it recurves and forms a ball. When it forms a little ball, people are like, oh, that's a parasite that's destroying the oak trees. Nope. Nope, it doesn't. It just hangs out on the branches, so it doesn't hurt the tree at all. Some people have whole businesses to remove and kill these things. They do nothing negative. If anything, they're creating habitat for small animals to live in and increasing your biodiversity. So yeah. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the Tillandsia and break them up into small pieces that are about this big. We're going to start with the funckiana. So on this shelf back here for the wreath. This is the one that we're going to start with. We're going to break them up into little pieces. And we might even be able to just stick them directly into the wreath. And then for extra stability, use the wire. For the bigger ones, we have to wire them in. But this is kind of what I was thinking, kind of like that. Just filling them in throughout. I also have these scissors so I can do things appropriately. I'm going to take all the dead leaves off. That's mostly... One of the things I have to do is stick it in sufficiently deep so that the living tissue is inside the wreath. So like this section, I want to stick it down to this depth. So I bought this funckiana as a big basket, like a giant basket. for like 20 bucks. It was like this big. And then I was like, well, I'm going to split it and separate them. So I separated them and broke them into little pieces. And then I had this big mess, and I've been carrying it around with me. So I'm excited for it to be kind of usable. You're still waiting for the only plants? This is the only plants. I'm going to start with the bigger ones. The bigger funckianas. What I really like is symmetry. So I want it to be mostly symmetrical. But then as it grows, it won't really do that. It won't matter. So I have all these little nubs and loose bits that are just kind of like random pieces of plant that I've always had. So I'll stick them in if they die, then I won't be devastated, that's all. It's giving ficus. It's giving bird wedding. Yeah, this is what a bird would have at their wedding. Bird wedding. Matthew guessed it. Bird wedding wreath maker. Tillandsia. Tillandsia is the right thing to do. The bro wreath, the bromeliad wreath. This will be the special centerpiece. Okay, we're gonna have to pin this to the front here. So I have had these in like weird positions, so it's all curved, but that's okay. JP. Okay, let's stick this here. We're gonna get around the base. Hopefully it works. You know what they say, it's all about that bass. Isn't that a song do people listen to that song anymore? Meghan Trainor, yeah, everyone loves Meghan Trainor, right? Okay, we're working on it. It's gonna get full and thick and dense. The birds are gonna love it. They're gonna pay me in birdseed, I'm so excited. They're gonna use it for photos. It's a photo op spot, yeah. G stands for gay bird wedding, yeah. You have to lick them once in a while. Make sure that they're still tasty. La 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 la. So what I'm hoping is that these little guys that have like no roots or that are freshly cut, I'm gonna stick them in the wreath, and then with appropriate watering, I think that they'll grow roots and help adhere. That's what I'm hoping for. One thing that I'm trying to do is make sure that I get the edges right. So if you look at this one, I want the edges to have stuff on them too. So I'm gonna try and put stuff along the edge so it'll grow. Oh, this one has a root. Look at that. See that little yellow thing sticking out? That's the root. Who's on the root? Oh well, okay. Root reveal. I started playing Legends of Runeterra, and there's a character named Mr. Root. And he's like that star in Mario movie. You know, the little star, the Luma? Like, I can't wait to die! That's what Mr. Root is like. Mr. Root is this cute little, like, tree sapling guy. Just talks about wanting to end his existence.
I hope you're excited to die too.
Do I recommend misting or soaking? Friend Ellie, that's a great question. My personal recommendation is soaking them once a week. But with the wreath, I'm gonna just spray them. So I have my sprayer here, you know, and then I'll do that. I'll go into the bathroom so it doesn't drip, you know, on my floor, and spray them like that. But I hope that it'll be sufficient. Using horticultural wire to adhere things to wreaths. It's the right thing to do. That's what we're thinking. Yeah, and I have a bunch of small little ones, so I'm plugging them in the little holes. The issue is that this side is like perfect for putting things in it because it has a lot of little spots, and then this one is harder to find plugs. Places to plug them in. You've seen living wreaths in art exhibits, but you're not gonna do them at home like this. Yeah, you can do them at home. You just need to know what materials you need. So, grapevine wreath, horticultural wire. This one bends really easily. There's floral wire, which is not the right kind. It's too stiff. And then getting the right plants. And the thing is that even if half of the little ones I'm putting in here die, then the ones that have the right light and right conditions will thrive and fill in and take over. So I'm just overdoing it right now because I have excess. and then get to... Do they smell different when you cut them? They smell a little bit herbaceous. Nothing too crazy. They just smell like a little bit like grass. You know, they're not too insane. Little grassy smell. One of the things about natural objects is that they will follow natural forms, and you can't control them, really. And so there's a certain beauty to its roughness, which I need to learn to accept. So I think that this is an exercise in understanding and appreciating the raw nature of the material. So there's two places I was thinking this would go. There's a wall right here that gets like constant light that is pretty evenly distributed, or it could go back where Gorgoron is. The one thing about going back there is that the light comes from this side, and so everything would eventually curve towards that light. But if I put it right there, which you cannot see on stream, but I would get to enjoy it at least, it would get consistent indirect light, which will be perfect. So this one is starting to flower. You can see the little, the purple things on the top. This is a mix between the Spanish moss and the ball moss. So I'm going to use this, and I'm probably going to like break this up into little segments that look like this, and then adhere them around the edges. Oh, okay. I realized these are great for the edges. I'm going to put them on the edges, because then my favorite ones will go on the, like, in the middle, and then these little ones go on the edge. Treebeard. Don't be hasty. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use the wire around the base leaves, like this. This will be the hardest part. This is really challenging, actually. Okay, we got the first one on! Yay, we did it! I think what we're going to do is I'm going to put the smaller ones up here. If I put one here, I'll do one here, one there. Yeah, okay, I'll put one right here, and then two small ones up here, and then we'll see what will go on the top, like the star. Okay, these two will be flanking. Like this. Okay, Duskborn asks the seal of approval. Do you approve of the lack of seal representation in the wreath? He's losing his mind. He says no. The seal of approval wants more seal stuff. One of the things is that I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with these. I mean, I could attach them so they hang in the middle. That could be cute. But I don't really know. Stick them on the edges. Okay, I like... Oh, fruit. Okay. I like this big one. You like the big ones too? Oh, you like big air plants. Very nice. Okay. I think next we put the big one on, and then we go from there. Like, oh, that looks good. I like this. Okay, not bad. Look at that side profile. Fun. It's barren right here. I would like to resolve that. If there was something hanging from the middle. Nope, I don't like that. It's charming, it's fun. I got to put the plants on it. Okay, I'm excited for it to grow in. I think I'm a little bit nervous about a few things. Some of these are not really in very much. Like this one is not in, so I need to adhere it. Well, what a day we've had. What a splendid time. I'm gonna find a wall mount and then let it dry. The light coming in. You wish your little mouse you could enjoy going on the wreath. The birds will be happy.